Hey folks, this is Mike with Chasing Trail. This is my test ride from the Africa Twin Adventure Sports I rode, the 2018 model. I decided to just do a voiceover for this section. I wasn't talking or doing any commentary while I was riding it. I did not expect this gentleman to offer me a test ride on this bike. I was surprised when he did. It was very generous, and I had my full concentration going. I wanted to make absolutely certain I paid my full attention while I was riding his bike, so I didn't want to think about doing commentary or anything, so I thought I'd do some now. I do drop the volume up here because the wind noise was really loud. I was wearing my dirt helmet. Anyway, just some thoughts from this ride. The bike is really big. Physically, it reminds me a lot of my dad's 2007 BMW R1200 GS Adventure model that had the 9-gallon tank. Just physically, I cannot flat foot on this bike. I'm 6'1" with a 32-inch inseam. I'm close to flat foot, but not quite. It's very wide between the legs. The thing has a ton of power, very linear, torquey power. Feels incredibly planted and stable. Really good, solid feeling bike. And if I was going to do touring or long distance riding, this thing would be amazing. For my type of general weekend warrior, going out for a few hours, wanting to ride up to the mountains and maybe do some forest roads or gravel roads, I don't know. It feels really overkill for that kind of duty, and just the physical size and weight of the bike concerns me, especially if I was going solo. I've only dropped bikes on, black diamond trails full of snow, or when on super steep rocky sections, so I'm not overly concerned that I would drop it, but I'd just like to plan for if I did. So the weight is definitely a concern for me, and just the overall size of the bike. It is super comfortable. This particular one has full Olin suspension and every accessory you could ever want to do to it. It's really well set up, really nice motorcycle. Needs nothing. You could hop on this thing and ride across the country tomorrow. So yeah, I keep going back and looking at the ad. It's a beautiful bike. I absolutely love the color scheme. Like I said, it feels so planted and stable and good on the road. You can take this thing on the freeway, no issue. Feels like a tank, very torquey. Amazing. I mean, I've seen videos of people taking these things off-road and whipping them around and doing all kinds of stuff I wouldn't be comfortable doing on a bike that size. So it's a bike I'm still thinking about, still considering. Just for my intended use, it feels like overkill, just like too much bike. I briefly owned my dad's GS Adventure for about a week after he decided to sell it, and it just moving in and out of my garage all the time. I have a very small garage space, so I'm constantly having to push the bikes and move them around, and I've had some really heavy bikes in the past. I love the way they handle on the road, but just for day-to-day usage, that stuff becomes an issue for me, and I just don't do the longer type of rides and touring, so a lot of the benefits they provide are kind of lost on me. Still thinking about this bike. If anyone's looking for an adventure, Africa Twin Adventure Sports near the Reading area, this one's a great deal. You can find it on Craigslist and Facebook. The guy's a really good dude, so if you're interested in a bike like this, it's available. I don't expect it to last long. But ultimately, I think for me, it's probably not the right bike, and I'd be stretching my budget, and it just doesn't make sense. I had to go look at it. I'm really glad I did. Still surprised he offered to let me test ride it. Anyway, I cut the video here. Just wanted to respect his privacy, but that's just sort of my little voiceover of that test ride, and now I'll resume the regular video. Thanks. Hey folks, I'm back. I don't know how much battery life I have. I think my camera overheated a little bit ago. Just finished up my checking out the Africa Twin. The gentleman very graciously allowed me to test ride it. I was not expecting that. I didn't do any commentary during that. I was very focused on wanting to make sure I didn't drop or damage this bike. I spent, the last
all day, all night last night, reading and watching videos and all this stuff and reviews about that bike, and some of what people said was accurate and some I don't agree with. And no matter how much you read or watch, it just is no substitute for getting actual seat time on a bike. It's just very elucidating once you can actually spend some time on it and see what it's actually like to ride. So, my initial thoughts and things that people write about, the brakes do feel very wooden. I did not care for the brake feel at all. They work, but there's really just no... Yeah, wooden's a good way to describe it, I guess. There's just no real feedback in what's happening in squeezing the brake and what the bike's doing. So the brakes work fine, I just don't like the way they feel. Second thing people will write about is how wide it feels. It's very wide between your knees. It's got quite a large tank. I think it's a 6.5 gallon tank. I mean, you're sitting on it like this. It's a very large, substantial bike, and it reminds me a lot of my dad's 2007 BMW R1200 GS Adventure. That was a large bike with a very big tank. They feel great when you're going down the highway and faster speeds. They offer really good wind protection. They feel very stable and planted, and that one reminded me of his GSA a lot. Things people were wrong about was power. Some people said that it doesn't have enough power or this or that. Horse shit. That motor has plenty of power for any sort of, I mean, granted I was riding it solo with no luggage on flat ground. So maybe if you're two up, loaded down with luggage on a steep hill, trying to go 85, maybe there it's an issue, but it felt to me like that motor had plenty of power. I can say that after that test ride, that's not the right bike for me. It's a great bike, low mileage, everything you'd want to do to one is already done. It's got full Olin suspension, navigation system, all the protection bits, windshield. I mean, the bike is, there's nothing else you could do to it. It's beautifully set up. His price is very fair. He's got all the service records. It's a great deal for someone who wants an Africa Twin Adventure Sports. Now that I know I'm not going to buy it, it's here in Reading. It's on Craigslist and Facebook. If you're interested, go check it out. He's a really good dude. I think he's asking a very fair price for it, so snatch it up. I don't think it's going to last very long. But it's not the right bike for me. And in fact, riding it also has me wondering if the Tenere is going to be the right bike for me. As soon as I hop back on this, I just love these lightweight, dual sport feeling bikes. This feels so good to me. Other than the vibration, I love the way these bikes feel. I think I could ride this bike a long ways if it were not for the vibrations. And I just appreciate the compact size, how light and maneuverable it is, how easy it is to move around. There's just something about true dual sports. I love dual sports, and those are the right type of bikes for me. So I'm going to have to do some hard thinking tonight. I mean, admittedly, a lot of my interest in the Tenere is just this, was the same thing with the CRF 300L Rally. It was this fear of missing out, knowing the bike is hard to get. There's this, you know, allure because few people have them. Honestly, part of it is thinking if I buy that, make some content on it, it might help grow my channel, get me over that 1,000 sub mark, to where I get partner status and then can start taking this whole thing a little more seriously. That's definitely part of it, but it's way too much money to spend unless I know it's really the right bike for me. And I've gone through a lot of bikes the last couple of years. I can't keep doing this. I don't make any money from these videos. I don't have a channel to help support me do this, and 90% of the time I am losing a lot of money when I'm buying and selling these bikes. So I mean, I just took a huge bath on my BMW. This next bike, it's got a, you know, I want to be reasonably confident it's the right bike for me, and as of right now, after riding that bike and knowing how often it gets compared with the Tenere, it definitely has me doubting whether a bigger, heavier bike is really going to be what I'm looking for. And right now, really thinking that maybe the 690 is what I'm looking for, or heavily modifying and setting up a DR650. So like I said, I just really like dual sports and this style of bike. They're just a lot of fun for me. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I like them. That's all that matters. Yep, still going. So anyway, I definitely have some more soul searching to do, and need to decide if I think I want a bigger, heavier bike like the Tenere. Dual sports are just so much fun, man. How can you not love these bikes? They're just a fucking blast. Oh, fuck's sakes. That hurt. Oh, fuck's sake. Hope I didn't just get stung. Just took a bumblebee or something right to the face. Damn. My nose fucking hurts. I think it stung me. Maybe I didn't get stung. That fucker hit me right in the tip of the nose though. That hurt. Son of a bitch. That fucker sting me? I don't think so. Got me right in the fucking schnoz though.